I'm going to tell you a personal story when you say how long. When I first met Pujya Swamiji, I asked him about fear. And he said to me, you fear because you don't trust. Okay. And I then gave him my story. The story that my identity had built itself around. And it's a good story. I'm not going to give it to you here, but trust me, it's a good story. It's a story that for 25 years of my life had gotten me a lot of, oh, wow. You know, it serves all of those purposes that our stories should serve. And Swamiji looks at me. As matter-of-factly as you can be, while still being compassionate. And I'm not able to explain it verbally. It was compassion and love, but for the essence of who I was, without even a drop of pity or engagement with the drama of what I had gone through. And he looks at me and he says, are you going to take that to the grave? I was 25. And I said, well, God, of course not. Swamiji, the grave, you know. And he said, well, are you going to let it go a day before you die? No. He said, how about a week before you die? And I said, but Swamiji, no, God, I mean, I hope I'm studying psychology, I'm in therapy, I'm working, there's a process, we go through these things and I said, I hope at some point I'll let it go. And he looks at me and he says, you're waiting for somebody to come in and draw the line for you. He said, nobody ever will. You can draw the line on your deathbed, a day before you die, a week before you die, or tonight. He said, that is in your hands. No one is ever going to come in and draw that line for you. And this was in the morning. He used to give darshan from 10:30 to 11:30 in the morning. So this was in that morning hour. And he said, in the evening at the Arti ceremony, I want you to take the Arti. And after the Arti, I want you to stand in Ganga. And I want you to hold Ganga water in your hands. And I want you just to give it. I want you to stand there as long as you need to stand there to give it all. Now, I was in the middle of a PhD program. I was a graduate from Stanford. I was as elitist in the educational sphere as it gets, studying psychology. And I have entries in my journal from that afternoon that is so embarrassing to share in retrospect, but I'm going to share with you, that say, just give it to the river. He says I should just give it to the river. As though it were the sweetest, quaintest, cutest thing that someone could possibly say. And yet, how fortunate I was that I came from a world where we had processes and psychology and ways of understanding all of this, because obviously this was not something that one just gave to the river. And if this was as much as they had here, well, thank God I came from somewhere where we at least had a depth of understanding of what we go through. That evening, I'm cutting out a bunch to just try to make this really short. So that evening, as I go down to Arti, I realized, okay, look, God has sent you thousands of miles away. Maybe it wasn't just to make a mockery of you. maybe there was actually a reason and a purpose. And I had taken a vow on the plane here that I was just going to keep my heart open. That was my vow to myself. I had no idea why I was coming, so I said, I'll just keep my heart open. And so as I walked down to the river that night, I remembered my vow. And I said, okay, look, worst comes to worst, you're still in exactly the same boat as you are now. But maybe, just maybe, there's actually something here. Maybe the craziness of you traveling thousands of miles away when you had no interest in coming to this country, when you knew nothing about this country, because the people you were traveling with had wanted to come to India. The fact that you landed up through, again, a crazy set of circumstances at the feet of this master who says to you, give it to the river, maybe there's something going on here. And all I committed to was that I would do it with sincerity. That was all I could do. I didn't believe it. Absolutely, there was not a part of me that believed it. But I made a commitment to sincerity. That on the off chance that there was something here, I had to do my sincere best. And what I can tell you is, Ganga takes it. And I give this to you from my personal experience. And I did everything that an over-intellectualized, over-indoctrinated psychologist does afterwards, which is try to bring it back. That didn't really just happen. It's not really gone. And I did everything I possibly could do. And it was gone. And I share this with you as an offering. You've developed in your mind what you think the problems are. And with the mind, the problems are not solvable. But you too have been brought here. And you've been brought here with this question. And what I can tell you is, even if you don't believe it works, if you simply can muster up the sincerity to take that step and to stand in Ganga as long as it takes, I have no idea how long I was there, to offer that which has happened that today leads to fear. The betrayal, the abuse, the whatever it is, that actually happened to somebody other than you. Because the you who's sitting here is not the you to which that happened. If you can offer it, the grace will do the rest.